So this is like my top 5 harmful medias that are like presented to the black community. They really all have harmful models in them, and they really romanticize betrayal. Abuse gets framed as passion. Loyalty is expected without reciprocity. Divorce is framed as failure, especially for black women. And black men are either emotionally unavailable or redeemed without accountability. And black women usually get framed as martyrs or manipulative survivors in these sets of content. So first one, just off the top, Tyler Perry's The Oval, Sisters, Acrimony, Temptation. It's just harmful by impact, not necessarily by intent, or by intent. It depends on how you're seeing it. And men are written by are just written as demons, right? Or clowns. Women are gaslit by everyone, including the script. In divorce, boundaries in therapy and rest are treated as plot devices, not solution. Suffering equals strength. If she's crying, it's good TV. And the cultural impact it really produces is that viewers think love equals pain plus endurance, and that none of those should belong in this equation like this. And we get to see emotionally abusive cycles that are normalized, and women are expected to prove their loyalty through betrayal. Number 2 is Being Mary Jane. And it's harmful because Mary Jane is intelligent and ambitious, but constantly unfulfilled. Her relationships are transactional, infidelity laden, and shallowly resolved. She's alone, and it's written as empowerment, but it's really emotional exile. And the cultural impact looks like this. It equates success with isolation. It portrays dating as a battlefield where no one wins. And it encourages self-sabotage wrapped in glamour. But then number 3 is broad. Number 3 is broad because I think the whole Love and Hip Hop franchise can be included in this. Infidelity, betrayal, violence are built into the show's DNA. Intimacy is either chaotic or non-existent. Men are framed as unfaithful by nature. Therapy is performative. Real accountability is rare. It makes toxicity look fun, right? It trains younger viewers to prioritize drama over emotional maturity, and love becomes a spectacle, not a process. But I also include empire and power in this list. Black family empire is built on crime, manipulation, and deception. Emotional vulnerability is punished, dominance is rewarded. Black women are either power hungry or self-sacrificing. Divorce equals weakness or betrayal, and it confuses power with partnership. Relationships are pawns, not safe spaces or places, and masculinity is defined by how many women you control or discard. And this is where I would put number 5. Number 5 could also go in here, especially the second film for this. So Tyler Perry's Why Did I Get Married? That second movie, it showcases brutal relationship pain without no real repair arc. Uses trauma for laughs. Marcus and Angela's dynamic is not funny but volatile. And then the second film makes death the path to relationship clarity. Divorce is treated like humiliation, not healing. It keeps women in emotionally dangerous spaces because what if he changes? Implies women must break down completely before being allowed to move on. And you get to see these same themes repeat. Struggle love is a rite of passage. He cheated, lied, hurt me, but I stayed. Framed as strength. Okay, then black women as endless forgivers. Holding the family, holding his ego, holding the trauma, all while being judged. It's completely ridiculous how they present this. And black men redeem without emotional growth. They come back without doing any of the internal work. And no real model for divorce as liberation. Divorce equals failure. Rarely shown as healing, healthy, or freeing. And then we see friendships lacking emotional depth. Friendships basically just boil down to gossip, betrayal, and competition. Rarely are there models for collective healing or accountability. So a healthy model will look like when a breakup isn't a war, divorce that's honest and freeing, right? And a relationship where people grow with each other, not around each other. Men doing emotional labor without being coaxed, and black joy without the prerequisite of pain. And these studios really hold this down. I'm about to go through the list of studios who really put out these harmful models the most. So first on the list is, this is like wildly expected for a lot of people, but it's Tyler Perry Studios. They have distribution through like Lionsgate, BT Plus, Oprah Winfrey Network, and his entire universe often centers on black women suffering as redemption. Black men are either cartoonishly evil or emotionally useless until a woman breaks for him. And then therapy, accountability, and emotional equity are rarely real plot arcs. His studio thrives on Christian respectability fused with toxic masculinity and melodrama, and the impact is really flat and obvious. Multi-generational trauma dressed in wigs and gospel. Then we get VH1 and Mona Scott Young Productions. You know, that's the Love and Hip Hop franchise, Atlanta, New York, Hollywood, Miami. That they're with Paramount Global, formerly Viacom CBS, and they kind of built this black empire on toxic intimacy, explosive conflict, betrayal, and humiliation. Virtually no positive couples model at all. And then cheating, yelling, performative reconciliation are structural tropes. We get to see glamorized dysfunction. Drama equals love, chaos equals connection. That's all they talk about. Then we have Fox and Lee Daniels Entertainment. So that's that Empire Star, you know, all that. 20th Century Fox, Hulu. Lee Daniels builds visually rich, emotionally violent black dramas. And his relationships are fraught with betrayal, addiction, sexual trauma, and parental manipulation. Rarely are characters shown sustaining love without destruction. And so we get to see Love is War, family is theater, healing is aesthetic, but not practice. And then we have Lionsgate, which is like, Addicted, Precious, and, a lot of other Tyler Perry films, but they're along with Cold Black films. And Lionsgate helped Tyler Perry scale dysfunction to a national black aesthetic. And Cold Black focused on black-centered content, but leans heavily into, trauma-centered narratives, and they really amplify trauma through national theatrical releases while underfunding healthy narratives. And then we have BET. So BET is owned by Paramount, and they have, programming that heavily features hypermasculine men, betrayal heavy relationships, emotionally chaotic women. BET Plus is the streaming headquarters for black romantic dysfunction and continues the urban theater circuit model of trauma for entertainment in a digital form. Then we have OWN, which is Greenleaf's, The Haves and Have-Nots. Queen Sugar and David Makes Man offers more emotional range. OWN still traffics heavily Christian-coded family dysfunction and generational secrecy. Oprah brands lean toward feel through it suffering without always showing the work. You get emotional sophistication with an undertow of the same silent pain. And then you have Netflix. Netflix is kind of still learning us. They license a lot of trauma content from other black creators. Malcolm and Marie became a centerpiece of toxicity as dialogue. And they platform new black creatives, but often reward pain-centered storytelling over models of emotional equity. Algorithms are still learning that pain sells fast, but healing, they think it's something in development. And the pattern is really the same. Reward black trauma if it looks pretty or powerful or profitable. Rarely fund shows that about black conflict resolution, healthy divorces, slow love, and then elevate black women's emotional pain as content while letting men be either villains or helpless. So a real thing that we need to see is two people divorce and heal with dignity. That's something we need to see, especially out of black people. A couple sets boundaries and sticks to them. That's what I also want to see on TV. A black man apologizes and changes. I want to see that. That's something people need to do in real life. And then a black woman doesn't have to break to be loved. And that's one. I don't know why that's hard for them to convince, but families heal on screen and not just fight beautifully. Okay, we are not free in that type of landscape. So we're going to go into this a little further. The next video after this is going to be the immediate part 2 to this.